Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing good today. I'm joined by Dan, and today we're going to chat a bit about Nottingham Forest game. But first of all, thank you for joining me today. How are you doing?
Thank you for having me on, and yeah, I'm doing all right. Just getting over the game yesterday, but I mean, I'm good about that. How's you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm happy to have you on. It's going to be good to chat about the game as well. First of all, what do you want to just give your thoughts just in general about the game from that Nottingham Forest perspective? Because for Arsenal, it was a very good win yesterday for us.
Yeah, it was sort of one of them ones where it was inevitable that Arsenal were going to win because they've got a really good record at home, and especially against Forest itself. So disappointed how we went about it, but I felt like Silva Mendy's goals were two really good goals. I mean, the Turkish first one, absolutely brilliant there. I felt like the second goal was a bit disappointing on Forest's part with that long ball. But, I mean, Gorkrest took it really well. And, I mean, third goal was really good. And to say that he didn't have Rice playing, I felt like Arsenal played really well.
Yeah. Yeah, I was surprised he didn't play, but I think it's good as well because we can rotate and change things in the game as well. I mean, I think it beat the Emirates. I did feel more confident. I think when we're away at Forest, it's a lot more difficult. Um, did you expect Nottingham Forest to go for it a little bit more? Obviously, you have got a new manager, which is going to take a bit of time. How you sort of feel as well about your new manager coming in?
Um, I mean, it was inevitable, but I felt a bit underwhelming with it being Ange. And um, it's one of them ones where I think things will work out. I think Forest going from a really counter-attacking style to like a more possession-based, especially under Ange, and I think it will take a lot of time for Ange to implement what he wants because obviously now, especially for Arsenal, it's between now and the international break, they're going to be around 7 games, so literally playing Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday, Thursday. So I think Ange's style will take time to be implemented, but I think hopefully Ange does do well to have. I think yeah, he showed what he could do in that first season in Spurs, and last season it didn't work out as good as he wanted, bar winning the Europa League. But I think given the time and given the time to see what he can do with these players, I think he'll be alright with it. We have got a lot more better technical players than Spurs have, so I think it's well played, Matt, succeed quite well here at Forest. I think you're on mute.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting one with him because he didn't do great with Spurs, but he did win the trophy. And I think it'd be an interesting appointment for Nottingham Forest. Do you see him win anything with you guys? Because obviously he usually does win stuff in the second season, but do you feel optimistic about him in the long term?
I think in how Malnatus and Eddie wants us to go, I think he will provide us that really good platform to play this new possession attacking Blaze. Will it be long term? I mean, I hope it does because I hate it when I see managers get sacked and everything. So I do hope he does stay, and I hope that he can show what he can do. I mean, he always said that he wins something in his second season. So, I mean, it'd be nice because we're not won a trophy for such a long while. So, but I mean, anything can happen in football. It's a funny old game.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you. I think you'll have to see as well how it goes. Regarding your season so far as well, I mean, were you surprised that he got appointed? I know there's been a few managers that are sort of sniffing around. were you surprised that he got appointed? Obviously, he had just been at Spurs and now he's gone straight back into football again. Obviously, we know he has won stuff and he has had success, which is obviously great. But do you feel like this was like a surprise appointment, or do you think this was expected?
I mean, his name was branded around for a while because Marinakis gave him a award back in, I think it was July. So his name has been branded around a little bit. I think how quick it came as well, like how it happened. So I was a bit more surprised on the timing of it all. But I think in terms of like what we want to do, I think and how we want to play, I think it doesn't surprise me in that sense because Angie's known for Angie Ball. So I think it will be it'd be good to see what can happen from it all.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think you definitely have to see how it goes. Hopefully, for you guys, it will definitely get you to where you need to be. Obviously, I wanted to ask you a bit about Arsenal because obviously before the international break we did lose Liverpool, and I think a lot of us felt quite disappointed because obviously Eze didn't start, and we go into national break and obviously going to this game, a lot of these players have obviously had a good international break, like Odegaard, Marino. But what have you made from Arsenal sort of so far this season and sort of how we played yesterday?
I mean, it's probably the sort of start I expected. I mean,
Mm.
Man United, it weren't a proper Arsenal performance, but the good thing that you did is that you won because them sort of performances like a season ago or two, Arsenal would have lost it. So for Arsenal to win it and win ugly, just to show they've got that side of them there that a lot of people say if you play ugly and win, it's a good trait to have. I think Leeds, Leeds at home, I felt like obviously it was going to be one way. It just took Arsenal a bit of time to break them down, and after that it was very one way. Whereas Liverpool, it was I felt like with Liverpool that you controlled the game, but it wasn't. You weren't creating much more than that. And I mean, it was a cracking free kick that shouted that. But I mean, to go there get a point, go to Anfield and get something. Not many teams do that. I mean, they get a couple of draws, and but there's only like one team that beat them at home all since start of last season. So, um, but I think overall, I think yesterday I felt like Arsenal played well, and um, Odegaard getting injured hasn't helped. But I think it just took that bit of brilliance from Simon Bemley to um, open the scoring. And I mean, to be fair, he capitalised really well, sort of second half in terms of that scoring. And after that, for that 10-minute spell, Elliot Anderson just started to get into his swing of things, and that was substitution. I think if Forest weren't controlling that midfield that they did, I think Rice would have the game off. But I think because Elliot Anderson was growing into it and we started to sort of like dominate and that, I think Arteta just made that change and it just run you guys back into gear again. So I think, um, I mean, it was a pretty good performance by Arsenal. We shared that. Um, and I mean, they've got 3 points.
Yeah, I mean, I think as well. It's like at the stage, I just want to take the 3 points. So like, obviously, you want to play good football, and want us to play like that. But I think it is good that we got the 3 points yesterday. Obviously, Eze played as well, and we saw Gyökeres get a goal. I mean, I think for me, for Gyökeres to do well, you need to give him some type of service, and I think Eze is definitely going to have a really good partnership with him. Obviously, mentioned as well Odegaard picked up another injury. It's weird one with Odegaard because last season he was quite poor. He just had injuries. It just for some reason it just didn't click as well. But with Odegaard, I wanted to ask you a bit about him because I mean, I personally do like him. Like when he's at his best, he is great and a big, a big part of this team. But obviously, at the moment, he's picked up another injury, and it's just I don't know what sort of like going on with him. Obviously injuries do happen, but he obviously had a similar injury not long ago, and it's like another one's happened. And obviously he's our captain as well, and you want to be able to sort of rely on your captain to play quite a lot. Do you feel with Odegaard that he'll be back to how he used to be a few seasons ago, or do you think maybe this is how he's sort of going to be for maybe this season?
It's one of them ones. I think did Odegaard rush himself back from his last injury, or did he just got back fit and that? But I think without shadow that, I think Odegaard, we all know on his day, he can be one of the best midfielders in the Premier League. No shadow that about that. I mean, it's just a shame that last season and this season he's just picking up injuries and all the sports science side of things picking up on this and be like, yeah, we need to manage Odegaard a lot more differently now to what he used to be like 5 or 6 years ago, because obviously we all know we all get old, our body adapts, and um, it's really, really tough one because I think on his day he can be an absolute baller. He has shown that. So I think I completely agree with you what you have said. But I think it's probably have to be a time now where if he's suspected to injuries and picking these up and similar type, I think Arteta and the sports science side of things and physios need to be looking at his training regime and be like, how can we manage Odegaard to get back to the level where we were a couple of seasons ago?
Yeah, I completely agree. Like you said as well, I know when you get older as well, you might struggle with injuries a bit more. Things do happen. It's weird because in the international break he was doing so well, creating those chances for Haaland and scoring as well. And I was really hoping that you'd come back to Arsenal and, hopefully his form would pick up. It's hard. He's not had a chance to really get going because of these injuries. And I think it's another hard thing as well because he is the captain and obviously you want your captain to be playing. Obviously, Arsenal are quite lucky because we've got great leaders in the team, with Declan Rice, Gabriel, etc. Like there's so many leaders, but it's just a tough one. Obviously, Odegaard because, like you said, where he was a few years ago, he was great and he got this team going to scoring goals and doing really well. So I do hope Odegaard can go back to how he used to be. I know a lot of fans are quite divided about Odegaard. Some would probably want him to go, but I'm really hoping that he can just pick up his form. I wanted to ask you obviously about Arteta as well because obviously it's to a lot of people as an outsider, we haven't won trophies in a while, and obviously we've only won an FA Cup, and this season I think is a big season for us. I do think that he has to get it right. But like I said, as an outsider, what have you made like of Arteta so far? And do you think now with the squad Arteta has that he could win something this season for Arsenal?
I think with Arteta, I think he's been under Pep at Man City, so he has all Pep's tactics and knowledge on how to do things. And he won the FA Cup first season, and I thought, oh, this might be Arsenal getting back to the old Arsenal that we expected from like the 90s and early 2000s, where they were literally up there with Man U. But I think with Arteta, he needed, when he first came in, he needed to get rid of some that big egos, some bad heads that was in the squad, and how he managed it brilliantly. And he has had money spent on the squad, especially this season now. And to be fair, to go competing with your Man City's 2 seasons a trot, your Liverpool's, and just being second every time. And yeah, fair enough that we all knew you needed a striker, and now you have got a big striker in Gorka. I think, and you spent money on that Eze, and you just strengthening the areas that you needed it, and now you have got a squad. You got to be thinking about it like, is this the season where Arteta got to win something to repay all that money that's been spent? Because I think, yeah, fair enough, there's a debate saying like, it's everyone's first season. They need to bed in and they need to do get everyone going. But I mean, how many more seasons are you going to be saying, "Oh, it's going to be next season. It's going to be next season," before Arteta uses all his trump cards? Like, but I mean, ain't no shame that is a good coach and he's very good at what he's doing. But the main question is, how long do you give it? How much money are you going to spend on it? Whereas when you got someone that slot who's gone straight into Liverpool, not spent anything to this season and won the Premier League, so it's is it a mindset thing from Arteta? Is it he has to fine tune the tactics? Because I mean, I know there have been quite a lot on terms of last season they've gone quite defensively good. This season they're trying to play differently in terms of like tactics and that. So I think it is all good in terms of like they try and find different ways. But I think how long do you give it before, like I said about um, Arteta, Arsenal will be like, we spent all this money, you don't win anything. We might have to find someone else that could do it.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's like every fan as well has like completely different views because I mean, there's some people that would be happy for Arteta to go now. There's some people that would want to give him time, and I think it's hard because like you mentioned as well, great point. Arne Slot as well came in last season, and obviously last season was a weird one with Man City. They weren't really doing as good. And I think last season was probably our chance to do it. And I've always said we've needed a striker for like the longest time because if you don't have a striker, you're going to really struggle. And I think obviously the summer we've had this season, I'll be honest with you, I'm really happy with the window. I think you can see that we are doing very good, but I do think it is up to Arteta this season. I think if he can get his decisions right, we will win something special. I mean, it's like going back to the Liverpool game. I think you had to be a bit more risky, take maybe play Eze or do different things. And I think I just worry with Arteta, is he someone that is going to take risks in those moments where you kind of need to? But I obviously think this season, like we've had a decent start. Obviously, I think it's great. We got a win yesterday, but I think when we're playing, we got Man City in the weekend as well. No, we're playing Tuesday, but it's a big test, obviously, and I hope we can get over the line this season. And yeah, Arteta has been here a while, as you mentioned. He's been here, for a long time, and other players, other managers that sort of overtaken him. Crystal Palace, like they've won the FA Cup, they've won a Community Shield, and they've done amazing. But with Arsenal, I just think we've not had much to showcase how good we've done these last few years. So yeah, I always love to hear people's opinions about Arteta because obviously everyone is so different about that. But yeah, I do think this season we obviously have to win something special. With obviously, I want to ask you a bit about going back to Forest. Obviously, it's obviously a new season. Where would you be happy with like finishing in the league? Do you think you'd want to finish like in the top half and maybe win something, or do you think it's just getting in the maybe Europe, or how do you sort of feel about that?
I'll be honest, yeah. My sort of expectations and everything not really changed from that when Nuno was in charge to now, because I think Forest being in Europe for the first time in 30 years, it's gonna have that added sort of like pressure on like the players, especially in terms of like the game time, because we have got 8 extra games now, in which last season, yeah, fair enough, we had a really good cup run. Now we're in Europe, we've got that sort of extra games now. So, but I feel like with the money we spent, I think we can be competing on all fronts. League table, I said top 10, I'd be happy. That was sort of the season, and even now, I think single Ange gets to know the place and implement what he can do to. I think we will do well. I think the cup games. I think obviously, I think it'd be nice to get to that next stage and get to a final, because since we've been back in the Premier League, we've been 2 semi-finals. We've been in the League Cup semi-final, got beat quite easy, and Man City last season, and I feel like we have got the squad to win something like Crystal Palace did last season. Would it be this season? I think we can give it a good go. I mean, didn't no shadow of doubt about that. I think it just depending on like how we utilise the squad between the cup games and the league games. Because I think, yeah, fair enough. Last season, it was well documented that we didn't have the squad, so it sort of caught us first towards the end of the season. Whereas this season, we have got that squad, so I think our top 10, and hopefully we get to the semis of one of the competitions. And if we go on to get to the final, I mean, Ange always wins something everywhere, so I think you've got to have a really good optimistic man for that, because obviously the record under Ange is just unbelievable.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think like as an outsider, if you could finish like obviously within the top 10 and finish in like a relatively good place, I think that would be great, you know, for you guys as well. And I think as well, like with the cup competitions, like I think years ago, you know, you knew sort of, you know, Man City would win a lot, Liverpool, and I think it would have been quite hard for other teams to be there. And I think it's good that Crystal Palace have won it because it shows you that you don't have to be a top team. You can go all the way. I think for like for us, I think you know if you guys like won an FA Cup or the League Cup, I think that would really be amazing. And I think it would. I think it's special. I personally love the FA Cup. I think the FA Cups are so special. You know, as a kid watching it, I mean, I've only ever seen Arsenal win it, but I love the FA Cups. I think there's no reason why you guys can't go and win that. Because you know, like you said, if you've seen other teams like Crystal Palace that can do it, I think you guys definitely have a chance. Obviously, I do think with you know, teams like Liverpool, they'll definitely want to win, you know, so much like the league, the Champions League, and I think Arsenal as well. I mean, if we can't this season win the league or the Champions League, I would definitely be happy with you know, the FA Cup, the League Cup. I think they're both special, and I think as well, you know, if Ange won that in the sort of first season, it's something that you guys can like build on with him as well, and it's obviously. It'd be interesting to see how he does, as we mentioned before as well, because you know, he's been at Spurs. He didn't finish in a great position, but he was able to get them silverware, and obviously to win the Europa League finals is special as well. With that, and like say this season he struggled and you didn't finish in like the best position, or you didn't win anything, would you like be wanting to give him like you know the summer, you know, a few windows to see what sort of players he can bring in?
Me, I've always been under this impression about managers, because they always say you need 3 years just to implement your style, your players, and just build that sort of like the way of playing. Because I know a lot of people, especially nowadays in football, they want instant success, and even if they don't finish as high like we did last season, I think if we have a downgrade season, I think a lot of people will be disappointed and will want them done. Whereas I think, me personally, I always think a manager should be given the time to implement his style of play, get his players in, and just build. Because I think Rome wasn't built in a day. So it's one of them ones where I think I wouldn't want him gone. I think um, he needs to be given the time just to like do what he needs to do. And you know what? If he does um, go and win something like the Carabao Cup or the FA Cup, I think it will be a good success, because obviously we're not won anything in such a long time. And you know what? It's especially with the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup, because when you look at the big teams like you Liverpool, your Arsenals, your Man Cities, and your Chelseas, they're going to be thinking about league, the Champions League, Europa League, and they will be thinking about the bigger competitions. Whereas, even though I love the FA Cup and I miss the FA Cup, like they how it used to be. When it used to be a 3 o'clock kickoff and all the pre-match excitement, the build up to it, I think that's sort of been overshadowed now by like the league and Champions League because they've probably gone up above the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup. Whereas you look at the Carabao Cup and you think, yeah, it's probably not the big teams. They probably see the Carabao Cup as sort of like, yeah, it's not important, but if we win it, we win it. Whereas the FA Cup is like, yeah, we can win it, but it's not as highly important. So I think for Forest, if they're going to them two competitions and go deep into it, I think it'd be a massive success for someone like us because I think it just goes to show that we are wanting to win trophies and everything. So I think if it's a success or not, if we don't have a good season and don't win anything, I think it won't be a massive issue, but I think it'd be something for Ange to build on, especially for next season, in terms of having that pre-season, having a summer transfer window, to implement what he wants, and just being able to find a way where he can implement Ange ball fully without having to think about Saturday, Wednesday.
I'm with you with managers as well because I unless it goes really bad, but I do think managers do need time. It's not gonna be like you said overnight success. Especially if these players aren't their players, it's hard for them to kind of do a lot with the squads. I mean, obviously there's certain things you can sort of question managers on, but I do think managers need a few windows to bring in their own players because it's like when Arteta first came in, the squad we had was. I mean, it was pretty bad defensively as well. We were really bad, and obviously, it's taken Arteta a lot of time to get his players in. I think the same for you guys with Ange as well. I mean, I think he needs a bit of time to settle in. He needs time to sort of get to know the players as well, and it's hard as well because I know, for example, with United, they've had a lot of managers over the years, and I think as well, you need to give managers a bit of time. Because I remember when Arteta came in, I wasn't sure on him, but I did also say I want to see him bring his own players in. So I'm with you. I think managers do need a bit of time to get to know the players, settle in, and for the players to get to know him as well. I do think as well, as you mentioned, with the FA Cup, I think for a team like Forest or other teams, like Crystal Palace as well, they're a great example. I think the FA Cup it would be very big for your club. I think as well, if Ange could win that in sort of his first season, I think that'd be very special. As you mentioned, you could build on that as well. And obviously you hope, you can win, you can stay in a relatively good position in the league as well, because I think last season you did pretty decent with Nuno, and I think it'd be good if you guys were able to do that as well. Obviously I wanted to ask you a bit about the title race as well, because obviously Man City at the moment haven't done as good as obviously Arsenal and Liverpool. Liverpool do seem quite good. Obviously they've now got Isak as well, so it seems like it's going to be hard to compete with them. But who do you feel like could win the league this season? Do you think there's any teams that are probably more stronger than others? Because obviously Liverpool are probably the favourites. I guess they won it last season. They've improved in their squad. Arne Slot, as you mentioned before, he's a very good manager. Obviously Chelsea as well. I think people might put Chelsea there. I think it's harder with Chelsea. I definitely see them in top four. And obviously you got Man City, and I don't know how Man City are going to do, honestly. But who do you think is probably going to be up there in the title race?
I think without shadow that Liverpool will be up there. I think, especially with the squad that they have assembled now, and that sort of mixture of the new players and the players that was there last season. I think honestly, his tactics will probably evolve a lot more now because it's in his players, and obviously they just seem to be they've got this mentality we're gonna compete on all fronts. I think Arsenal. I think for them, I think if they are going to compete, they're gonna have to keep winning the games that they are. But I think when you do play your Liverpool's, probably your Man Cities, especially away from home, where like we discussed earlier, where they were Arteta seemed like he just didn't want to lose the game. He just wanted to play it safe. So I think for Arsenal, if they want to go out and get like the Premier League title. I think they need to take them bit more risks, especially when you do play like the teams around them instead of playing it safe. I think Man City, I think, yeah, they have strengthened and the button in the place that you needed to, because that squad, it was really aging last season and you could tell. So I think Man City, I think they won't, I think they've challenged, but I think it might be a season too early for them. I think they soon need probably 2 or 3 more players in there just to um, be up there. I think Chelsea will have a good chance. I think they're strengthened really well. Those issues I've got for them, especially with them last night, like conceding like they did against Brentford so late, like it's that won't go down well for them. So I think if they pick up a couple more of them results, I think they'll probably be fourth. I think Newcastle, I think they won't. I think they'll probably need a good overall. So I think that's out of the 3 of them. I think it might be Liverpool, Arsenal, and probably Man City. But I think depending on when you play each other, I think them sort of games they're going to be decisive in terms of like whoever wins them might have that edge towards getting the Premier League title.
Yeah, I do agree with you. I think it's hard really because like Liverpool, I think will probably win it. I think it's going to be close. I think it'll be quite close with Arsenal and Liverpool. I think it could go to the end or could go to maybe the last few weeks. But yeah, I think Man City will probably be up there as well, but I don't think they'll be as close as maybe Liverpool or Arsenal. And like you said, Chelsea last night, I mean, conceding those goals at the end, it's not great for them. We need to sort of finish off the games and try and win those ones. So yeah, I think it's going to be obviously a really interesting title race. Obviously, top 4, top 6 as well. You know, that'd be interesting to see. Obviously, like you said, Newcastle, how they're going to do. Obviously, as well, Villa, they've not had a great start either. So it's been interesting so far. I've been enjoying seeing how the other teams are doing as well. But yeah, I definitely think it's going to be a very exciting title race, and top 4, obviously, you know, in the relegation zone as well. I think it's definitely going to be an exciting season. I thought as well, obviously, before we wrap the show up in a few minutes, if you could tell people, I know obviously you're putting the title of your channel, but you could tell people a bit about what sort of content you do on there.
Yeah, sure thing. So it's Talk Forest TV. I do a lot of content on socials, on YouTube. On YouTube, I do quite a lot of like videos on Forest. So I do match previews, reviews, start 11. I get people on that discussing about their opinions on like the Forest and even opposition fans. So it's really, really good. I find it. Just talking to everyone else. Obviously, I go on other channels like I'm now. So on the socials, I do quite a lot of like posts on like say that yesterday. I said about a lot of engagement stuff just to get fans giving their opinions on what they thought about the games and all that. On TikTok, I do a bit of lives on TikTok as well. So, but yeah, YouTube, it's mainly video talking about Forest and just where they're going.
Yeah, I love that. I love that obviously you do a lot of content as well. I know you're quite consistent as well. Obviously as well, like I said, you know, if you guys do want to subscribe to Dan's channel, it is in the title as well. I'll put it in the description as well. So please do obviously go over and subscribe to his channel, give it a watch as well. Obviously, I hope you guys have enjoyed the show today. It's been good to chat and obviously reflect on the game, talking about each of the season as well. I've really enjoyed having you on today, Dan. So yeah, thank you so much for coming on.
It's right, thank you for having me. Really enjoyed the chat about the game yesterday and both teams' seasons so far and what to expect.
Yeah, me too. We'll definitely do it again as well. Obviously, when we play each other, we can do a preview or a review together. But obviously, it was great to have you on, and obviously, I hope you guys that are watching us back or have watched this show, I hope you all have enjoyed it. Please, obviously, do make sure to smash a like on this video and subscribe. And like I said, do subscribe to Dan's channel as well, which is in the title. And yeah, obviously, I hope you enjoyed the video today, and hope you all do have a wonderful day. And I will speak to you all very soon. Bye.